A piece of Toronto's history has been lost. St. Anne's Church went up in flames over the weekend. The church was also home to priceless works of art. Greg Ross is live for us tonight at the scene. Greg, do we have a better sense of how bad the damage is?
Well, Talia, seeing it from here on the street really doesn't tell the whole story. All that's left standing for this church are the 4 exterior walls. Everything else pretty much destroyed. When you look behind me here, you see that what was once a dome-style roof on top of the church has completely collapsed. Everything inside the church completely gutted. And when you walk around this community and you talk to people here, it is clear that this was a huge loss.
Residents of this neighborhood in Little Portugal got a surprise wake-up call Sunday morning.
They're just like pounding on the door, telling us we gotta get out, and I'm in a bathrobe and like running up the stairs, just telling them that we gotta go.
Many homes near St. Anne's Church were evacuated as firefighters battled a massive blaze that saw flames shooting through the roof of the church. This man didn't realize how close the fire was to his home, which is just steps away.
The smoke was so thick, I thought it was the chocolate factory that was on fire.
By the time fire crews got things under control, not much was left of this historic church.
The church is completely charred, is completely gone.
Pastor Don Byers says that includes artwork that was unique to the church, including massive murals painted by members of Canada's famed Group of 7 more than a century ago.
And it was priceless. It was stuff that you could never reproduce, and as far as I understand, it was the only religious artwork that they ever did.
That was only part of St. Anne's incredible collection of art. Robin Sewell is a volunteer who gave tours of the church to art enthusiasts who came from around the world to see it.
10 artists worked on the church, including 2 women sculptors, Frances Loring and Florence Weil. It looked so beautiful when you went inside. It was like being inside a jewel box, because the gold would just sparkle.
St. Anne's was built in the early 1900s, and many of the parishioners have been coming here for decades.
I was married here 36 years ago.
This man no longer lives in the neighborhood, but still managed to find his way here every Sunday for services.
Although I live in Etobicoke, this is my church and has been for 36 years now.
The fire marshal remains on scene here investigating the cause of the fire, which is still unknown. Pastor Byers says this is a complete mystery to him because he says nobody was in the church at the time.
The night before, we had an evening prayer here. We left, I shut all the lights off, everything, locked everything up, so nobody was around.
I just talked to police investigators who tell me it's still very early, but they are asking for help from people in this community. They want anybody who might have video or photos from around the time of the fire to come forward and provide those to police. And I can tell you what's happening right now. You see behind me here, you see these fire hoses, several of them that are pumping water that was in the basement of the church. Again, the cleanup here continues. Fire crews are just starting to get into the building to get a better idea of this damage and trying to determine how this fire started. As for the future of the church, Pastor Byers says that he plans to continue serving this community in some way. Right now, he's considering the church hall, which is actually directly beside the church, just over here to my right. That building is still standing. It's not clear if they're going to be able to use it, but he's hoping that maybe they could set up some sort of makeshift church where they can hold services. If that doesn't work, he says he has heard from several other churches in the neighborhood that have offered space if they need it. Talia?
Thanks, Greg.